welcome back or welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a different type of video than what I normally post on my channel. If you're new here and you don't know the type of content that I usually post, I typically post vlogs and just lifestyle things. You should subscribe if you want to see stuff like that. But today's going to be a little different. I'm going to be doing a summer book suggestion video, just a casual sit down kind of video, and I just thought it would be fun since summer's right around the corner. Honestly, without any further ado, I think we should just jump right into it. The first book I have here is going to be Love is a Mixtape. This is by Rob Sheffield. I'm actually not done reading this book. For some reason it's taking me forever to finish it, but it is a really good book so far. This is essentially about Rob. This is his real life experience having mixtapes essentially be the soundtrack of his life, especially his relationship with his wife, who has unfortunately passed on. But I think that this is such a great book in the sense that, like, no, this isn't specifically just for summer. You can read this anytime. I just thought this would be a good book to start this off with because the mixtape is just such a reflection of how he feels, and music reminds him of certain memories and times in his life. So I feel like if you want to make a summer playlist, just to kind of reflect how you feel in summer and certain memories that you love from summer, I feel like that would be a good way to start your summer off, especially reading this book. Okay, I have to warn you, the next like 4 books are going to be Emily Henry books, but we'll go through them pretty quickly. But yeah, let's just do that. So the second book I have is Beach Read, and this was my first Emily Henry book that I read. I love this book. This is one of my favorite books I've ever read. It has a lot of like personal things in here for me that I just really connect to, which is why I love it. But going into like the plot and stuff, this is about January and Augustus. This is a romance book. January goes to the small town where there is a beach house that her deceased father used to own, and now she's going there trying to go through all of his stuff. But while she's there, her neighbor is Augustus, who just happens to be her old college rival. So they both are writers and they're writing books, but they're both deciding to switch it up a little bit. Gus essentially writes like American stories, I guess, and then January writes very romantic, happily ever after kinds of stories. And so they decide to hang out and switch the type of genre they usually write for, and because of this they hang out a lot and they have a lot of experiences together and the romance kind of blossoms, and it's super sweet. I love that it's held in like a small town. A lot of Emily Henry books are meant to feel like vacation books because the characters are essentially going on vacation into these small beach towns, and it's just a very cute read. I really like it. The third book I have is People We Meet on Vacation. This is also going to be a romance book about Poppy and Alex. This is like a friends to lovers kind of book where these two have been friends for 10 years and their typical thing is to go on a vacation pretty much every year, and at one point though in their relationship something happens where they stop being friends. However, in the present, Poppy tries to make amends with Alex by going on another vacation to Palm Springs, and a lot of chaos ensues and a lot of antics, but essentially these two form a bigger relationship on top of the friendship they used to have. And yeah, I think it's such a great read, and I think Palm Springs is like the perfect setting for spring and summer because it's Palm Springs. So yeah, that's that one. Our fourth book is going to be Book Lovers. This is about Nora and Charlie. They are both literary agents that work in New York. However, Nora goes on a vacation to North Carolina. She's with her sister there, but while she's there, she just so happens to see Charlie there because that is his hometown. They are kind of rivals in their work environment because they both are literary agents and they're not working for the same publishing company. So it's an enemies to lovers story. They come together in this small town and it's really cute. I really like it. It's like a country kind of rustic summer aesthetic, which is super cool. I really like this book. It's super cute. Okay, the last Emily Henry book we have is gonna be Happy Place. This is actually the most recent book I've read. I really liked this. This got me in the mood for summer, which sparked the idea for this video for the most part. Happy Place is about Harriet and Wynne. They're these two people in this big friend group, and this friend group has been friends for like 10 years since college, and now they're almost in their mid-20s and 30s. I think. But essentially this friend group goes on vacation all the time to this particular house, one of their friends Sabrina's vacation homes in Maine, and so they go up there all the time, and Harriet and Wynne are in this friend group and they've been dating for years. However, something happens in between the 10 years that they're all friends where they actually break up. However, they're still going to this vacation that they do every single year, but they have to pretend to still be dating because they haven't told their friends that they're not dating. So it's like fake relationship almost, but it's not because they also were in a relationship. So there's a lot of layers to this, which I really like. And this is a little bit different to me than a lot of the other books Emily Henry has written, because it just has a lot of characters rounded out rather than just like side characters. I don't know. The friend group is really a friend group here, and it's not like one of the characters is like lesser than the other. Everything just feels really balanced out, and that all the characters need each other for very specific things. And I feel like this is a good summer read for, you know, if you want to get inspiration to go on like a summer trip with all of your friends. And yeah, moving on from Emily Henry, we have Malibu Rising, which is by Taylor Jenkins Reid. A lot of her books just have such depth to them, and her writing is so eloquent. I love it. Malibu Rising is about Nina Riva and her 3 siblings, and they are the kids of Mick Riva, which if you are a Taylor Jenkins Reid fan, you would know it is like the multiverse essentially, because Mick Riva is a character incorporated in pretty much all of her books. You will see him pop up here and there in certain books, and here he is not the main character, but his children are. I'm going to try and explain this the best way I can. So Malibu Rising takes place for the most part over the course of a day. Nina Riva is this very popular supermodel, and she is essentially, she always throws a rich party every summer, and so in her Malibu mansion, she's getting ready for this big party all day. But while this is happening, it cuts to time jumps in the past to explain like how she is the way she is, why her siblings' actions, you know, the reasons behind them. And I just think it's a very interesting take, because a lot of Taylor Jenkins Reid books incorporate a lot of flashbacks to present day things in order to explain characters' actions and their reasons for their actions, and I think it's just so interesting. And this is obviously a perfect book for summer because obviously Malibu's in the name, and Malibu is a place in California. It is a very beach-centric city, and this, as well as many other Taylor Jenkins Reid books, take place in California, mostly Southern California. So I feel like this is a good book in case maybe you don't live in Southern California and you're visiting, and maybe you want to go to a bunch of like touristy places. This is a good like outline almost, because Malibu is incorporated in here, especially stuff on PCH Highway. So if you're a California person like me and you see stuff like this in books and you just kind of fangirl because people are talking about like the place that you live, and it's so interesting. So, you know, Malibu's there, Zuma, Laguna, all those beaches, and I don't know, if you're going to take a trip to California, this is a good outline for you to go and take that trip. But yeah, that's this book. The next book I have for you is going to be The Summer of Broken Rules. This is by K.L. Walther. This is a very cute book. I actually read this pretty quickly when I read it last year. This is about Meredith. Meredith and her family usually go on an annual vacation to this vineyard where they have like this annual game essentially between their family called Assassin, where they're kind of like wiping each other out throughout the course of the summer, or at least the trip. I can't remember if it's a full summer, but this particular summer is a bit of a complicated one for Meredith, our main character, because her sister Claire had just passed away, so it's within that year of, you know, all the milestones of not having that sister there, and this is the first trip without Claire there, so Meredith is kind of in this weird bittersweet phase because she loves this vacation and being with her family, but she doesn't have her sister there to enjoy it with. Also, this particular summer there is a wedding happening at this vacation as well, so this turns into a bit of a romance because Meredith starts to have feelings for one of the groomsmen. His name is Win. Win and Meredith team up for this game of Assassin over this vacation period, and they start to bond and get closer, and the romance is just super cute and innocent between them. And yeah, I think this is a great summer read because it just takes place in this vineyard, and all of it has to do with like being on a beach and like summer cabins and all of that. So this is a good easy read if you want that for summer. The next book I have for you is My Policeman, but this takes place in a beach community in England called Brighton. Brighton is very much like this bright beach town where our 3 main characters take place for the most part. It's like a time jump kind of situation as well, from the 50s to the 90s. It's like a love triangle, but not really a love triangle. This is between Tom, Marion, and Patrick. This is an LGBTQ story, so I think this book is just really sweet, and it just has a lot of perspective on the type of world that LGBTQIA plus people had to live in the 50s and then still in the 90s, even though that is a different time. It just shows how difficult these two had it and why their romance was so secretive. It's just a really sensitive read, but a really heartfelt one, and I think if you're looking for that for the summer, this is the perfect book for you. The next couple of books that I'm going to end the video on, I don't physically have copies of, so I'll just like put little pictures of them in here. So the next book I'm going to be talking about is actually a series. It's called The Summer I Turned Pretty, which is a Jenny Han book series, and it's about Belly, Conrad, and Jeremiah. This love triangle between them is a very long and interesting road. It's so complex. Just as a little backstory, Jenny Han has written a lot of books and they've been turned into adaptations as TV and movies, and I'm just so excited to watch that happen for an author because that's a really big deal. So a lot of her intellectual properties have been turned into movies, just like with To All the Boys I've Loved Before, XO Kitty, and now with Summer I Turned Pretty, because last year in 2022 The Summer I Turned Pretty became a Prime Video series and everyone loved it. And not only did this book series already have a bunch of fans behind it, now it's accumulated way more fans because of the TV show. But going back to the books, because that's what this is about, the book follows Belly, Jeremiah, and Conrad. Conrad and Jeremiah are brothers, while Belly is like the family friend. She goes over to Cousins, this city over in the East Coast, all the time with her family. It's this childhood best friends to lovers to like love triangle, and it honestly gets a little bit complicated because there's a lot of like different layers to each of the books, so you'll just have to read the series to know all the details. But the TV show is still around, so if you want to read the books then watch the TV show. It's there. Season 2 is coming out this summer. This is not sponsored, but Jenny Han, if you want to sponsor me, I'm very open to it. But yeah, the Summer I Turned Pretty series is a perfect summer read. It has the perfect summer aesthetic for like the coastal East Coast summer vibe, if you're looking for that. The last book I have for you is a book I have never read. I do not own it, and I just found out about it this morning. And hear me out, this might sound a little weird, but I just watched the brand new live action Disney Little Mermaid. I loved it. It was so good. The Little Mermaid was my favorite Disney movie in general when I was a child. Ariel was my favorite Disney princess. I had the dress, I had the shell necklace, I just had an obsession with Ariel and the idea of being under the sea and being a mermaid and all of that. So watching the live action was just so nostalgic, and it felt weird watching it while I was 21, but it was such a good movie. I think it was just such a great adaptation, and I found out that the live action adaptation of The Little Mermaid is now novelized. I didn't know this. I was on TikTok this morning when I found out, and I found it so interesting because some people showed excerpts of the book, and it's so cute. Essentially, the book dives into Eric and Ariel's story a little bit more, just a little more exposition, because obviously dialogue is one thing in a movie and you can't speak the character's thoughts. But I thought that's such a cute book to maybe throw in here because it is one of the big summer blockbusters, and The Little Mermaid is the epitome of summer, so I feel like that's a perfect way to, you know, put that in a book and a movie. But that is actually it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you can get some inspiration for summer and reading with this video. And if you like this type of content, please let me know. Give this video a thumbs up. I will actually see you guys in the next video. Bye!